Welcome, class of 2024. I'm Mr. Grohl, and I want to talk to you about some different items that are important to know for junior year. One of them is how you set up appointments with your counselor. Just as a reminder, Mrs. Devine has got students A through F, Mrs. Primo has got G through LE, Mrs. Lemsky has got LI through RI, and I have RO through Z. One thing we want to highlight on here is while Mrs. Devine is out for term 1 for maternity leave, students' last names C and F will be covered by Mrs. Primo, D and E by Mrs. Lemke, and A and B will be myself, Mr. Groh. You'll notice at the bottom that there's a way to click to set up appointments. It is on this presentation, but it's also on the website, and you can set up appointments through our Calendly links. Other members of our team is Mrs. Katricius, our school psychologist, Mrs. Lahodik, our school social worker, and Mrs. Farley, our director of college life and career readiness. A person that you all will already have met or you will be meeting is Ms. Furchel, who's the voice and face of student services. If by chance you're unable to set up an appointment with us through Calendly, you can come down and see her. Our website has a lot of valuable information, so you can see that there's college rep visits, and at the bottom on the far right, you'll notice this is how you would go into the Calendly links to set up an appointment with the counselors. Email, please make sure you're checking your emails. You're going to get a lot of valuable emails this year. For instance, you're going to get an email that says register for Parchment towards the end of the year, so keep watching the emails. This is a quick view timeline of things to keep in mind for junior year. And you'll see it's broken down by the fall, the winter months, the spring months, and then it goes all the way to the fall of next year. So this fall, some highlights is we got our big post-secondary night on September 26th. It's a great opportunity in the fall to possibly take the PSAT or to build your resume. As we move into the winter, you'll notice that this is where you will be taking your ACT test on March 7th and making choices if you want to do the dual enrollment academy. And of course, you're going to be doing some scheduling. As you move into the spring, AP exams, completing your civics exam if you haven't, NCAA registration, requesting letters of recommendation from your teachers, and most importantly, possibly taking spring break to visit colleges. And in the fall again, you'll be actually starting to apply for colleges. It opens up on August 1st, and we'll have another post-secondary night that you can use to help solidify your decisions. Now, this is a little bit more detailed view of what you can expect as you're going through the year. If we look at the fall again, one that I really want to highlight, we just talked about, is graduation checks and completing your civics exam to make sure you're on track to graduate. You'll notice the updating your resume as you're looking at that, and doing the research, using Zello to maybe explore some careers and majors that you're interested. As we move into the winter, you may want to do some preparation for the ACT. We will be doing a practice ACT. There's registration for your AP exams, registration for the NCAA again. Spring break, you may want to do some college visits. We're looking at the ACT actual test. We'll typically have our spring junior meeting where you can get information, and this is a good time also to ask for letters of rec. And then over the summer, it's a great opportunity to kind of prep for your application. Make sure your essays are ready, opportunity to look up some scholarship information, and maybe take a look at the applications themselves to see what you need to do, what kind of information that you need. Just as a review of graduation requirements, you need at least 24 credits to be able to graduate. You'll see a variety of different classes under graduation, and those are the classes you need to graduate. You'll notice our graduation requirements are a little different than college requirements. Are the base requirements for all 2- and 4-year colleges. The final requirement is the Wisconsin State Civics exam. Keep in mind that world language is not a graduation requirement, but oftentimes a requirement or recommendation by 2- and 4-year colleges. The Wisconsin State Civics exam you can find in Canvas. It's a test you can take as many times as you need to pass. You need a score of at least 65, and once you pass, it'll be noted on your transcript. This is a great tool in Infinite Campus. It will do a graduation check for you automatically. So click on Documents, and then click on Academic Plan Progress Report at the bottom. You'll come to a screen that looks like this. You can leave it at Summary. Just click Generate Report at the bottom. And then this will let you know where you're at. If it's all green, that means your academic planner has all the courses you need to be able to graduate. You'll notice that this student too took the time to complete the Wisconsin State Civics exam at the bottom. P, credit option, just to clarify some misconceptions. Yes, it is swapping any WIA approved sport or an approved activity with a core class. There's a form that needs to be completed. You put in the activity or the sport, you have your coach or activity advisor sign off, and then you're putting the core class, English, Math, Science, or Social Studies, beyond your graduation requirements, and then it's submitted for approval. Scheduling changes, just a quick reminder. 5 days at the start of every term, you can drop down from an honors to a regular class, provided there's a seat open. You have up to 3 weeks to drop to a study hall, 6 weeks for an A and B day class. After that, it's an automatic F. And you can't add a class until a term starts. All scheduled changes require the schedule change form. This is important for those that want to do sports. In order to be a college athlete, you have to be registered with the Eligibility Center, if it's NCAA or NAIA. So make sure that you register and that you are approved. This is an opportunity where you'll be sending your transcript and your ACT score at the end of your junior year to these organizations. Okay, now I'm turning it over to Mrs. Lemke.
Hey guys, so I'm gonna kind of switch our thinking towards opportunities and planning for next year. So first, I just want to highlight that our academic planning site that you may be familiar with from previous years of registering for classes will be being built as we go through this fall, but it is there and has multiple resources. In fact, most of the things that we speak about with you in this video are there and clickable. If they're not here, then they are on the Student Services website as a whole. One opportunity that we often highlight for our juniors is launch. Now remember, launch is the chance for you to get into a more project-based and career-based way of experiencing some of your classes that are already offered through Brookfield Central. Mrs. Primo, do you mind clicking on the strands for a second? Just as that reminder again, there are multiple strands at this point. So depending on whether a student is interested in potentially exploring a career in business, in medicine or healthcare, in teaching, in manufacturing, in law and public policy, we have so many opportunities for them at this point that many students can get some good experience in their junior or their senior year. So if this was something you thought about for your junior year or didn't know about for your junior year, check it out so that you are able to know what's available to you prior to registering for that senior year, especially since you have so much more opportunity to select classes with more space in your schedule. Your other opportunity that's unique to senior year and you may wish to start considering now is dual enrollment. Dual enrollment is our agreement with both WCTC and MATC that if there is a specific career that you are hoping to target and start the college coursework for while still in high school, you're able to spend your full day at during your senior year at either WCTC or MATC, depending on what you are pursuing. There is still a little space to take one class at high school, but it's definitely something to talk further with your school counselor regarding. On these two screens, you are able to see the variety of opportunities and programs that are listed. So if one of these is of interest to you, definitely connect with us, get more information in student services, and we will support you through that process of potentially applying for and hopefully being accepted to the program of your choice. More information and an informational meeting will be held in mid-December, with final applications typically due in February and March. An opportunity that's a little less specific than dual enrollment is early college credit and Start College Now. So there's a couple different ways students tend to approach this. Some students choose to do early college credit program because they have maxed out their opportunities in district. They want to go above and beyond in maybe a math area or computer science, or they've really developed a love for psychology and want to go beyond our AP psychology class that we offer here in the building. They can select really from any class at any private or public Wisconsin college and go ahead and apply to be able to potentially take that and fit it into their schedule. The other opportunity that they may wish to take is to experience coursework in an area that Elmbrook is not able to offer. So we've had students take anything from firefighting classes to carpentry or construction classes to genetics, which we don't offer a specific course in. And so this is a huge topic that we definitely get a lot of inquiries around. There's a good amount of information on the Brookfield Central website under student services and academic planning. But the biggest thing to know is that October 1st is going to be the deadline to request any spring courses. And then another deadline will come up in March if students are looking for something for spring of their senior year. Furthermore, if you are interested in checking out, well, what does this mean for me if I take college coursework while I'm in high school? You can use the tool Transferology to try to explore that option and see if you would be able to port credit from high school college coursework into the college that you may end up attending later. The ACT, this is your year for it. Now with COVID, we still have multiple colleges that are test optional, which means that a student may or may not necessarily need to report their ACT scores depending on the college and their policies. But it's really important that students feel comfortable and ready to take their ACT in this spring. Our date is March 7th. We will do the work of registering students so that they can take this paper-based test in person on March 7th, as well as they will have an opportunity to do an in-person paper-based practice exam before that. Any student who is interested in doing some prep work before that should click on the link that's provided, and there are some free resources as well as some at-cost resources provided by local test prep companies. My favorite topic, AP testing, is this next one. We know we have many juniors that may have one or more AP courses in their schedule. The way that college credit works with those AP courses is that if a student is hoping to get more than the great rigor that they're experiencing in taking the course itself, if they are hoping to translate that into college credit, they would need to take the AP exam. AP exams are held nationwide in the first 2 weeks in May. We will come out with more specific information about the exact process for enrolling in those exams and paying for them in early October. But in the meantime, students who are enrolled in an AP class can explore the credit policy on College Board's website and learn a little bit more about how things might translate. So for example, if a student is taking AP Lang this year, chooses to take the test and earns a score of 3 or better, there are multiple colleges that will give them credit for their freshman composition class for that. Again, I would just reiterate, we'll send out more information about deadlines and processes for getting those exams on the books, but some basic dates to calendar for now are early November for any classes that are running right now, AP classes, and early March for any classes that are beginning in term 2 or later. I would just highlight that there are some strict payment deadlines that are enforced by College Board. So it is just important to have great conversations together as much in advance as you can of the deadlines. so that the decisions students are making are ones that they feel comfortable with, whether they register to take the exam or not. I am going to turn it over, I believe, to Mrs. Primo here to talk about Zello and beyond.
Thanks, Mrs. Lemke. So, juniors, I don't want you to forget about our good old pal Zello, okay? And this is accessed through My Elmbrook. I'm going to show you really quick on your end how to look at different schools. So for those of you who are interested in various different colleges and seeing what ACT score do I need to have, or what GPA do I need to have to get into various different universities, Zello is going to be a wonderful tool. This is where I would want you to start. So you can go through and set all of these different types of filters, or you could just use the search tool at the top. And I'm going to type in Milwaukee. All right. There it is, University of Milwaukee. So once I click that, I'm going to get all sorts of information about UWM. They have a 96% acceptance rate. You can read more about the school. You can see similar schools off to the side. It even tells you the weather, enrollment information, applying. So this is where you're going to get all of your information. So the average GPA for a student to get into UW Milwaukee is a 3.1. You can look at the average ACT score. So we're looking at 18 to 23, 52% of students who apply get in when they range between that. ACT, you could look at admission factors, what's very important to them, what's important and what is considered. The cost of UW Milwaukee is also listed on here. Financial aid breakdown, important deadlines, and then you can go in and search for different majors, okay? And that will you can just, I feel like you can get lost in Zello, which is really cool. You can find all sorts of good information. Be sure, as a junior, you are utilizing this tool. For those of you who are interested in the military or an apprenticeship, now is the time to start to have those conversations at home. Start to have conversations with your school counselor. We are here to support you. So please know that start off with Zello, come see us, come tell us about your plan, and we can help support you from there. Parents, if you're like, wow, that was a really useful tool, I want to have access to that, you can. I mean, we would love to have you have a conversation with your child at home and have you explore Zello together, but we can give you access to Zello yourself. It would be just clicking this link or using this QR code to get set up and have your own access. So we are so excited to have post-secondary in person at BC on September 26th. That is a non-school day for our students, but juniors, families, please come to this night. I cannot talk it up enough. We have various different sessions as a junior. There's so much going on for this night. We will have all Wisconsin universities represented in 3 of our sessions. We'll have a breakout on scholarships, college applications, anyone who's looking to do the NCAA, come learn about the different requirements, how to fund college outside of the FAFSA. FAFSA is something that you will possibly be applying for. Again, that's money from the government. If you are a first-time student or parent and you want to learn more information about FAFSA, please come to that session. Madison and Marquette will be here and they will be telling you what it takes to get in, how they view your application. Both represent Madison and Marquette will be here, so come learn more about that. How to navigate your future career. Technical colleges. So WCTC will be here giving you a overview of everything that technical colleges in nearby us are offering. There's also College Fit. So if you're kind of confused on where am I supposed to be going, how do I find a right college that's a good fit for myself, come to that session. There's a breakout on college essays. Consumer of high school education, like Ms. Lemke talked about, how to take advantage of what Elmbrook has to offer here. Learn about all sorts of wonderful things that you could take advantage of while you are a junior or even a senior for next year. All of our private nonprofit colleges will be represented in these 2 sessions. Anyone interested in an apprenticeship, you want more information, please attend that session. Lots of college fairs going on, and just how to navigate college visits as you're a junior and going into your senior year. Anyone who's interested in the military, they will be here in person. They will have tables near the front entrance of our building. So come have a chat with them, with your family. Again, this is September 26th. So if you are looking for where each session is held, Mr. Gritzmacher will be sending more information about this night specifically in his weekly updates. So speaking of the military, if you are interested, here are our contacts. Please get a hold of them, send them an email. Most of them come to BC and want to meet with you, or will set something up with your family. College rep visits. So maybe you don't have time, you're a busy junior, you don't have time to go on college visits right now. They actually, colleges come to BC and want to meet with you in person. Now, some are virtual, but if you're curious to see what colleges come to BC, you can actually look at the calendar or stop by and see Mrs. Ferschel. She will put you on those calendar invites, which is just a great way for you to already get connected with colleges and learn more about all sorts of different colleges in our area, outside of Wisconsin as well. So juniors, if you are lost and you feel like I'm not quite sure what I want to do in my future career, I want to have more conversations about that. Mr. Manchesky is our career coach. He actually works for WCTC, but he is so knowledgeable. He meets with students in our county, actually, from other high schools as well. He comes to BC every other Wednesday, and he has 45-minute sessions where he will sit down with you and actually kind of coach you through various different questions and get to know you. We'll ask you about, what's your family like? What are they doing in their careers? And he does have follow-up appointments. He's wonderful. I have students who come back to me and thank me for getting connected with him. So please utilize him in your junior year or your senior year. That's Mr. Manchesky. That is it. That's what we have planned for you. So if you have any more questions, please schedule an appointment with your school counselor. Parents, feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help support you as well. Thank you for watching this, and take care, everybody.